Sam here from Pick Up Music. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to play chords with open strings. By having an open string, it's going to make the chords you already know, the shapes you already know, sound really, really awesome because it's going to be an open kind of singer-songwriter, folky sound, but it also works for other types of music as well. So it's going to be easy to play chords and they're going to sound really cool just by having a couple of open strings. Let's check it out. So open string chords, they're really awesome because they have an open floating feeling. It's really important to make sure your guitar is in tune, so make sure you do that now before continuing on. So the first chord you're going to learn is a D major 7 with the added 13th and 9th. It's a beautiful, easy to play, open sounding chord. This is how to play it. Ignore the low E. You want your first finger here, 5th fret of the A string on the root note D. Then we're just going to add 2 fingers. Ring finger up here, 7th fret, and then in between your middle finger here on the 6th fret of the G string. Open B, open E. This is D major 13. Now what we're going to do is take that same shape, 1, 2, 3 notes plus the open strings, and we're going to move them up 2 frets, and we're going to unlock a totally new chord, E major 7. You can also play the low E on this chord. If you wanted to, you could also play it with the G root note, so up here on the 10th fret. Also down here with the C major 7. But for now, just focus on the D major 7 to E major 7. Now we're going to do a D chord. You might know a D like this, but do you know a D like this? Beautiful open sound. It's a D with the added 4th. So we hear root note, ignore the low E. Ring finger here, 5th fret of the A string. Then we're going to stack up our other fingers. Middle finger, 4th fret. Open G string, first finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. High E is optional. You could also play this as a G major 7. You could reach over with your thumb, remove your ring finger here, or keep it there. And that would be a G major 7. It's very similar to this D add 4, which I just taught you. So this is a really beautiful A minor 9 chord. There's a couple of ways to play this. The notes are the same, just the way you could use your fingers. So I'm going to show you how to do it using your middle finger here on the root note. So 5th fret, low E string, skip the A string, and then we're going to put your ring finger here and your little finger also on the 5th fret of the D and G strings. You're going to play an open B and an open E string. So what's really cool about this chord is that there's this crunch here. It's a half step or minor second crunch between the 9th and the flat 3rd of A minor, and it creates a super colourful sound. A minor 9. So this is a super colourful jazz chord. You might hear it if you're familiar with bands like Snarky Puppy or Herbie Hancock. It's an F major 7 with a flat 13th, which comes from the melodic minor scale. So to play this chord, ignore the low E, and we want to use our ring finger here, 8th fret of the A string. And then we're going to stack up the other notes. Middle finger here, 7th fret, first finger G string, 6th fret, open B, open E. I quite like arpeggiating this one. The last chord is an F sharp 7 with an added 4th. So you can also play it with your first finger here on the root note. So although these chords are beautiful, it's not about the chords themselves. It's about a little bit of knowledge on how to use them and where to place them and subtract them for your more plain chords. So here's a bit of theory knowledge on where to use them. So that first chord you learned is a D major 7th. So anytime you have a D major 7, you can just swap it out for that chord. Times where you might have a major 7th chord would be in the key of A major, D major 7, So in the the key of A, there's a D major 7. Or if we were in the key of D major 7, you could subtract that chord there. The same thing would apply for the E major 7. Anytime you have an E major, try experimenting with that. Maybe you want to add on the third, maybe not, maybe you want to play part of it. It's just another great option and color to have in your arsenal of chords. As for the D add 4, that's going to work best in the key of G. So anytime you're playing the good old Gs and Cs and Ds, you can subtract that D add 4 for the D. So instead of this, you could play this. It's going from C to D add 4. It's actually the same shape. Pretty cool, right? And that would resolve to a D. And the A minor 9 chord here is really practical. Pretty much anytime you have a minor chord, you can subtract this chord for that. So let's say you're in the key of C major. C, A minor, F, G. Now this time, I'm going to play the A minor 9 instead of the G, instead of the A minor. Did you hear it? Now sometimes these fancier chords might not be stylistically suitable for the song. It might be a little bit, that's a bit jazzy. So you just got to use them with taste. Season with taste. So the F sharp 7 works best in the key of E major. So normally in the key of E major, the 2 chord would be a F sharp minor 7. But you can make that into a dominant 7. So let's do the F sharp 7 add 4. That would lead really nicely to a B chord or an A of a B. So that would sound like this. So as you can see, with a little bit of theory knowledge and knowledge of where those chords are, you can add some awesome colors to your songs and create your own versions of songs, which is kind of what it's all about. Now the next step for you would be the process of finding these chords. So I didn't just come up with these chords. What I did was I set a parameter. I said, okay, what chord can I make with the root note of an F, which uses an open B and an open E? And then I just explored on my guitar. What do I like the sound of? And to do that, I kept the root note the same. I said, I'm going to have an F root note. Okay. I said, I'm going to have an open B. I'm going to have an open E. I'm going to have a major third. That already sounds awesome. Now, what else can I add on there? Let's see. All right, I like that. So that's how I found that chord. Same would go for this. Open B, open E. Let's say that we have the root note A. What other notes can we have in there? You can see by setting yourself restrictions, A root note, open B, open E, and just changing the remaining strings, you can actually do some really cool shapes and even write your own songs. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube and check out our Chords Library Masterclass for more chords. Thanks for watching, guys.